Miller. Miller, put the dinosaur down. It's go time. Miller, stop playing around. We're gonna be alright, Miller. Hey, you'll be back in time for his birthday.
Al-Bashir is about to have a really bad day.
Listen, 1-3, this is Listen 1. We're awake and loud. What's your status?
1-3 is set. Over.
Roger that. We're closing fast. Out.
We on mission launch. Repeat, we on mission launch.
Vehicle down, taking fire from the left! Enemy behind the rock, left side!
Come on, Hawkins! You got down! Loading me! Orlando Victor, mission charge on my mark. 3, 2, 1, mark.
Driver, move out, full throttle! Stand by! 3, 2, 1, suppress it!
I still remember the open beta release of this title. The very moment the online servers went active for the Xbox 360, you were greeted with a message that said, "Unable to connect to EA servers." When you finally got to play a beta multiplayer match after hours of waiting, the experience was unforgettable. Battlefield 3 was a groundbreaking first-person shooter multiplayer experience during the early 2010s. I spent hours and hours playing this by myself or with friends. I never cared to be the best, or winning matches. I just enjoyed the militaristic setting and gameplay loop. There were matches that I did well, of course. I was actually a pretty good tank driver, if you saw my recent videos or have been watching my previous videos. Battlefield 3 is a first-person shooter video game by DICE and released on Windows, Xbox 360, and PlayStation 3 in 2011. You play as Henry Blackburn, Jonathan Miller, Jennifer Hawkins, and Dmitry Mayakovsky. During the Iraqi-Iranian War, US military squad Misfit 1-3 discovered 3 portable Russian nuclear devices. However, 2 of the devices are missing and only 1 remains. Misfit 1-3 learns that Sullivan, an insurgent and former CIA operative, plans to use the 2 missing portable nukes to bomb Paris and New York City for revenge. In a race against time, Misfit 1-3 teams up with a Russian military intelligence squad to prevent global conflict and the plot of revenge. For the sake of the video, I will only be showcasing the campaign for Battlefield 3. Multiplayer matches for Battlefield 3 have dwindled severely on the Xbox 360 since the golden age of this video game. Getting stellar or noteworthy gameplay footage is rather difficult as not all of the multiplayer matches entail memorable experiences. My very first experience with the Battlefield franchise was with Battlefield Bad Company 2. A high school buddy of mine had a little brother that owned the video game and decided to give me the game, free of charge. To this day, I never understood why they did that. For whatever reason they felt compelled to give away a video game for free was beyond me. I guess you could say they were generous, but there was a bit more to their mere generosity than I will say. I told my best friend that I acquired a copy of Battlefield Bad Company 2 and they were elated. Although, by the time I got the copy, Battlefield Bad Company 2 was actually about to end online support in a few months. my best friend and I decided to play the video game till the service was completely shut down. The little time I had playing Battlefield Bad Company 2 was rather entertaining, to say the least. I had never played a sandbox first-person shooter video game before. When the announcement trailer and reveal of Battlefield 3 came around, the showcase was earth-shattering. Being able to see the next generation of first-person shooting video game entertainment became euphoric. There was such clear and devoted professional practice and application put into Battlefield 3. The showcase reveal was breathtaking. To this day, I still revisit and rewatch the Caspian Border trailer. There are not enough words in our languages to describe how immaculate and stupendous that showcase reveal was overall. Skipping ahead of the pre-ordering and release window, and those were good times, I was around when the USAS frag round shotgun became a nerfed weapon. Does anyone remember those days? Battlefield 3 had such replayability no matter the cost of time. The Operation Metro scuttles and tug-of-war battles, the Grand Bazaar struggles, and the scene-crossing skirmishes. Everything was just fun. The one thing I regret more than anything was not buying any of the downloadable content map packs. I just refused to pay for them. Battlefield 3 had a wonderful multiplayer experience, however, the campaign was simply lackluster. The big reason why Battlefield 3 did not make my list of top video games of all time is simply the story. Trying to figure out the plot for Battlefield 3 is rather difficult to understand. Why is the story for Battlefield 3 so complicated? Upon thinking about the campaign story for Battlefield 3, I can tell you there are two main problems: characters and execution. The characters within the story are all unremarkable and unmemorable. Except for Miller.
Nice shooting, Miller. You rock. Boom.
All of the protagonists struggle at being actual protagonists. A protagonist is someone or something that an audience needs to help guide them through the story. Out of all the protagonists in Battlefield 3, none of them help the audience understand what the heck is happening. Each protagonist is in a world of their own and expects the audience to understand their story. Miller, however, gets a pass as a protagonist because of his straightforward beginning and awesome capabilities. We are presented with the idea that Miller is a father longing to return home. While away on duty, Miller strives to complete his assigned tasks as a fierce battle tank operator and soldier. Honestly, I wish Miller was the protagonist for the entire Battlefield 3 campaign. Moving on, the antagonist characters do not fare any better. They are quite confusing and ambiguous. There is a general sense of whom the antagonists are, but they are somewhat trivial. Overall, all the characters in the Battlefield 3 story are just running around doing things without much grounded thought, which leads to the executional problem of the story. Everything that happens in the Battlefield 3 campaign happens quickly without much explanation. One moment you are in a scene being interrogated by the CIA, the next you are flying jets over an airbase. The gravity of the situation for each mission is incomprehensible because there is a lack of solid introduction followed by poor storytelling follow-ups. Stories need a bit of a preamble and simple logic to follow for big follow-ups. Additionally, some linear forethought while things are happening in the scenes. For example, in Jurassic Park, bringing back dinosaurs from extinction and building a theme park around them will lead to disastrous outcomes. The presentational start of Jurassic Park, both in the book and movie, showcases that dinosaurs are dangerous creatures and should not be trifled with carelessly. Throughout the story of Jurassic Park, the expected outcome is that humans underestimated prehistoric nature and now suffer the consequences. We should have had a campaign in Battlefield 3 that starts with the introduction of the problem immediately. In this case, the US military discovers the portable nukes and the leading antagonist insurgent or insurgents, which then gets the US military on full alert to discreetly seek the missing 2 portable nukes and the antagonists, either across Iraq, Iran, or intel obtained from diplomatic relations. The US government attempts to find them quickly. The US military then finds 1 nuke in Paris and fails to prevent the detonation. The climax has been reached, and the global threat is realized. As a conclusion, the US military finds the last remaining missing nuke in New York City and stops the terrorist attack. Something like this would have been a decent enough plot line to follow with a solid protagonist leading, namely Miller.
Nice shoot, Miller, you rock!
I get it, Battlefield 3 is not perfect. But that did not stop the video game from being revolutionary. In terms of the multiplayer, Battlefield 3 was an awesome and wondrous experience. I was glad to have played a sandbox first-person shooter marvel. Battlefield 3 is now the 5th runner-up video game that is met with a story reason. I often find myself struggling to like video games overall because of the stories. I will say this. The story campaign for Battlefield 3 is not awful, but it certainly is not great. I will also say this. At least Battlefield 3 has a story campaign unlike the newest installment. To be quite honest, the newest installment of Battlefield video games has certainly waned my appreciation of the franchise in terms of the multiplayer experiences. Battlefield 3 was a hallmark video game that roared like a freak of nature. Or a dinosaur. If the Battlefield franchise continues, I would like to see the lightning in a bottle presentation that Battlefield 3 contained from 2011, as well as a solid campaign story to help bolster the replayability factor. Until that time, however, Battlefield 3 will remain faithfully as one of my runner-ups and memorable experiences for years to come.
Miller, here, station. Roger. Nice shoot, Miller, you rock! Raise it. Looks okay from out here. Target destroyed! Pick up the clapper, Miller! Run, you son of a bitch! Alright, Miller, you cover Misfit 1-3 with the 50 cal until we can get these ice rollers online again. Anvil 6-6! This is Anvil 3-4. Is there any immediate support? We're under heavy fire! Tank is immobilized. We're not combat effective. Roger, we're working on air support. We're doing everything we can. Over. We need them now, sir! Hang in there, son. We're coming.
Thank you for watching this video. If you liked this video and episode, please feel free to check out the Pondersaur channel for more episodes. For those who are wondering, I do in fact make all the videos and effects myself. I have been learning how to build and create everything from scratch for each episode. Being able to apply and showcase these features is a wonderful experience. Thank you to all who have supported this community, and feel free to check out our Etsy store provided with the link in the description below. I'm your host, Richard Dahlm, and this is Pondersaur, Words with a Roar.